So we haven't done this in a while, actually. It was last couple of weeks. It's been a little different. I had meetings with the Companions of the Cross. I'm on the executive council, and we had meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. So those were, 3 meetings of 6 hours. It's a lot. So those are long Zoom meetings. So last Wednesday we had, I think it was Caitlin. We had her on, and I did a pre-tape of just a little interview on Alpha, just a little bit of pitch for Alpha. So we ran that last Wednesday. So I'm just thinking it's been a couple of weeks since we've actually had a chance just to talk and to kind of hang out. But if you're out there and you have some questions or you'd like to just connect with me, please feel free to do so. I've just pulled up my restream, so hopefully that we'll be able to see if anyone's out there, and if you're interested in kind of what some questions or what's going on in the parish. I wanted to share with you, some thoughts. Here we are. Today it's kind of interesting. The last couple of days, actually, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, there's a sense I had that the parish is beginning to wake up. And what I mean by that is just that we're getting into some more normal, everyday things. There's Lindsay. God bless you, Lindsay. Like just doing some wedding planning, and we're doing a funeral. Fortunately, came up, which happens. We're just doing some planning. People are reaching out, some networking, and this is the normal everyday working of a parish. This is what happens in parishes, and it's a bit more normative. It's a little challenging because, of course, we still have restrictions and things that we can't do as we might like, but we're beginning to awaken. And this is almost my thought or my theme tonight. I thought, we have, and not this week coming, but the week after. I think Father John jumped the gun there a little bit a couple of days ago. So Ash Wednesday is coming up, and that's beginning of Lent. And the beginning of Lent is really the 40 days to Easter, and Easter is the beginning of the springtime, and a new beginning in the church, and a new, hopefully, season, both of spring into summer. And getting on the other side of this thing, I think it's been a lot longer than any of us imagined. I remember last year, about this time, things were getting a little more serious. You think, oh no, this could really affect us. It could be a month or two, a year later. But here we are. So just practically, what's Ash Wednesday going to look like? Well, we're going to run 2 masses, one in the morning and one in the evening, as we normally would. And so 9 o'clock in the morning will be a streamed mass, in which afterwards we will have the distribution of both ashes and communion outside, as we've been doing on Sunday now. This is this new thing, drive-by communion. I don't really like that expression, but people receiving the Eucharist, and would have an opportunity to receive ashes as well. There's a new part of a ritual that the diocese has kind of developed, and it's being used now, I think, throughout. In some parts of the world, they don't rub ashes on your forehead. They actually just sprinkle them on your head. So we've been kind of working on a way, how do you do that? What if it's blowing? What if it's windy? Well, we'll figure out something. We actually think we have a little solution, much like we would with a water dispenser. We're going to have a kind of almost like a little, I don't want you to be shocked if you see it, because it's not that crazy, but it's a little container that you might use for spices. And we clean it all out and put some ashes in there, and you lean forward and we put a few little, not very few, remember it's symbolic. And that would be the first station where Mary is. And then you drive forward a little further and then receive the Eucharist about where the chapel is. And so kind of have those two things. The last couple of Sundays we've been doing this. We've kept up pretty well. So I think we keep the traffic going. There's some question whether to do it in the back parking lot. There's still other things that happen back there. And like with other people parking they use the skating rink and other things. And plus I'm hoping to actually have the possibility of parking lot masses too, starting fairly soon. So we're trying to install the FM broadcasting unit that will make that more accessible to you. So for now, I think we'll stick with the front parking lot. So we come in, go by Mary, receive your ashes, come forward, receive the Eucharist, and go out. So that'll be in the morning. So if Mass is at 9, then from 10 to 10:30, that's when you'll be able to receive ashes and communion. And then we'll do it again in the evening at 7 o'clock, as we normally would. And that would be something more akin to a Zoom Mass, which we've been we're experimenting with, where, it's not that Zoom is the answer. It just gives you more of an experience of Mass where you're with other people. You're not just by yourself on a screen, where we're spending way too much time these days. And again, after that, from 8 to 8:30, again, there would be an opportunity to come down to the church. I know it'll be dark by then, but to receive ashes and to receive communion. So between the two of those events, I think that should be enough to get everybody who wants to come through. The good news is it seems like they're meeting today, actually, talking about, I was talking with someone from the Chancery today, possibly lifting some of the restrictions, and who knows, by then we might have a little more freedom to have more people in the church. I think we may keep this drive-by going anyway, even if we went back to say where we were in November, December, because it just seems to be a very good way for those who are watching online to still receive Christ, and those who are coming into the building can also receive Christ. And we'll probably ramp back up to more of what we were doing on Sundays, with 5 masses. So that would be the plan. But I've also got my eye on this idea of parking lots. We're trying to do this. I know that in some churches, in Cumberland in particular, they've been at this longer than us, and so it's an experience of community, and people know, and it's good. Now, right now, people could come and really stream from our parking lot. It just seems a lot more comfortable to do that from home and still be able to receive the Eucharist. But I'm hoping that as we go into Ash Wednesday and then we start our Lenten observance, we're not going to add a whole lot for Lent because it's still a little unclear, like where we're going to be able to do and how many people we'd have in the church, if anybody. We thought we'd have something like maybe Wednesdays we'd do evening prayer with you, like the Companions of the Cross, just Father Dennis and Father John and I. But the goal in my mind, I had this crazy idea about Ash Wednesday. Of Easter Vigil. That the Easter Vigil could be something we would do outside. And that's kind of our goal. By then, the weather should have improved. We should have had our technology down, so you'd be able to probably stream us or receive it FM on your car. And then, I just think of like a bonfire out there, like we normally do, but even bigger. And people watching that kind of in their cars, or even be able to get out of their cars. Wouldn't that be nice if the weather was a little bit nicer? And moving the altar kind of into the entrance to the hall. And hopefully by then we'll have our windows sorted out and you'll be able to see us. Still streaming it, but what a beautiful place to do the readings. Now, it's not ideal. It's crazy in a sense. But what I've really enjoyed about the drive-by communion services is that it doesn't limit us. Like, we don't for once have to be under a glass ceiling of some kind where legitimately the government has asked this and the diocese has asked that. And okay, fair enough, legitimate authority. But we can still do what we need to do. Celebrate Christ's resurrection. That we're not defined by the terms or the circumstances that we find ourselves. So I'm just really looking at that. Now, who knows? By then, could we be open? Could we be open even 50%? And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't... I've been wrong every time. So it's hard to kind of imagine that. But that's where I'm kind of heading. Because ultimately, the goal here, you see, is coming out of this whole thing with clarity. To welcome people back, to invite people back, to give people a reason to come back. So as we get into next fall, into maybe Advent, 2021, coming up on 2022, we're really firing on all 8 cylinders. That we really are clear in our mission. We're clear on the gospel. We've kind of maybe streamlined a little bit, and we're really focused. And I think that's the hope. So good people, let's hang on to that. I've been so edified by the making things like Lori's on. At Lindsay making her pillows and posting that and all the comments on that. Father John's pens, he's got a really nice one, a new one. Again, the stuff that I've been making. I've noticed the frozen hearts that are kind of making an appearance in the neighborhood. And I went on the local Facebook just for a little bit and just saw a little bit of the backstory of that. So, just seeing those appear, like seeing people don't just fall down in the snow and give up, make something beautiful and hang it in your front lawn. And if it melts in the spring, good, because then it's going to be spring and it's time for things to melt. But don't give up. Keep making stuff and keep trying and keep engaging. And I think that's what we need to do. So there it is. So Ash Wednesday, 2 masses, 2 drive-thrus. And then we'll try to kind of incorporate that into our Lenten time. I'm hoping there'll be some restriction lifts. It would be nice. And we'll be able to get at least, again, back to 70 or 80 people in the church. Although I think we may continue some of these practices of being allowing that, like afterwards. and then moving towards more of a parking lot thing. Because even if we have some restrictions over the summer, as the weather improves, I could really see we have a beautiful backyard there. We could really do something that would be a interesting thing. So yeah, so Lindsay, that suggestion has honestly been such a blessing. Yeah, we enjoy all of our making something projects. I think it's just such a simple thing, but it's so cool. Like it's just so cool, and to see the responses of it, that's been really neat too. I think one of our people is knitting. Which I saw it on our Facebook. It was like knitting sweaters for orphans in Kakistan. Like I'm not making that up. Woman, wonderful. What a, what a great thing. Who knew? So let's keep doing that stuff. And again, find the hope. The last thing I do, maybe we'll end on this, is just celebrate. It's not January. It's February. You got through a month. Okay? Keep it small. You got through a month. And in 2 weeks, it's going to be Ash Wednesday. And that means, we're 40 days from that. Yeah, Sue Atkinson. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't want to use your name, but you kind of outed her there. So, but yeah, this is hopeful. This is hopeful. Again, we only have to get through February, and then we're going to be into this. Again, when you get to March, it's still winter, but there's hope after that. Drive by communion, yeah, friend. That's always good when you have those things going on. That's very good. Recently, participated said he felt very loved by the experience. Oh, that's good. Yeah, see, this thing's helping out. So that's no. Don't worry, Lindsay. Yeah, sorry, I put the bait out there. You just took it, so it's not a problem. So don't worry about that. So yeah, so all of you, hang in there. Like. It's going okay. It's just for some people joining late, I started by saying I felt the parish waking up this week, and by I mean by that again, just a bit of normalcy coming back, and of course for me normalcy means more ministry, more problems, more outreach, but that's good work to be doing, and I still want more of that to happen. So still working on the glass. Yeah, I thought so, Luann. We have to talk about. A few other things I noticed. There's some other stuff we should maybe leak a little bit of that. We're looking at crosses for the outside of the church, like replacing the kind of the plus signs and making them into crosses, and they're pretty rotten actually, so they kind of need to come down. So how to do that best? I think that would be a neat thing to kind of do, like post Easter, kind of when we get a boom truck up there. So anyway, there it is. A little bit long. Sorry, I went on longer than I meant to. I just love it when you guys chime in. It just makes me so happy that there's people out there and you're listening and you're doing good stuff. And we're not alone. We're still in a parish. We still have life. And there's hope. There's always hope. So may the good Lord watch over, guide, and protect you. May the saints and angels intercede for you. May Almighty God indeed bless you and keep you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.